Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my partner in crime on the other side,
How to
Mr.
do? How to do?
Cantu.
What's up? What's
How
up?
we doing?
Good, good. Just chilling here. December 1st. I mean, not December 1st. It's December already. You know,
It
there's
is
so nice.
December. It is December, as you can see right here. Gotta get into the holiday spirit as we got the Corpus Christi Christmas theme hat going. And then we got something new at the bottom. We got a ticker.
Oh man.
Got something going. Instead of me repeating of where you can follow us, hey, right there, bam, you can just pause it, screenshot it real quick, and you can find us and all these platforms from social media to the podcast world. You can see us right there wherever you get them. But it is December 6th on this lovely Wednesday, episode 146. We're going to title it Astros Post Winter Meetings because the Astros were active this past week in the winter meetings in Nashville, Tennessee. Wow, I'd love to be in Nashville if I had the chance, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about that. Astros roundup post winter meeting grades. I mean, we got to give a grade, especially how the Astros did. Astros got their backup catcher. Astros trade for a relief pitcher. A little bit of Dana Brown talk, which is very interesting. He was available to the media and hear what he had to say. And then what's the stove cooking in the offseason because it is boiling hot. There is a player out there that will be going to another team. So we'll have to see about that. But first, Angel, our how we're going to start off with Astros Roundup. We're going to start it off with the post winter meeting grades. We're going to give a grade for the Astros what they did this winter meetings. Obviously, the priorities when they were going there, they needed a backup catcher and a relief pitcher. Well, they did that. They checked box on a backup catcher, getting Victor Caratini, 2 years, 12 million, six AAV each year, which is not bad. And then a relief pitcher by the name of Dylan Coleman, grabbing him, that right-handed pitcher from the Kansas City Royals for a prospect in the Astros farm system. Not a high or mid, but just somebody that's barely playing in rookie ball. Angel, Chandler Rome has said this before I get your grade. He had said this on the recap of the baseball winter meetings on the Athletic. He said, "quote Brown will leave Nashville on Thursday morning with a more complete roster, but his work does not appear done. It is not done apparently." My question to you is obviously, what does the Astros get? What kind of grade for this 2023 winter meetings?
I would say a B because they did fill two voids that they had. What they needed coming into the season, which is a backup catcher and relief pitching. They're losing three guys. Mayton already signed, or is about to sign somewhere. Neres is looking for a big contract guy, and if you can get Dylan Coleman to produce, kind of bring in that Hector Neris role where he was kind of like you know inconsistent, and then get this consistent high level guy, that'll be amazing for them. But I give him a B because I like it'll be nice if the Astros were like in talks with like Juan Soto or Otani or even Yamamoto, right? But you know, th- there's a lot to be done
Oh,
still. There's still a lot of holes to fix, but they're off to a good start, and they should leave like they should be in a good position after these winter meetings.
just imagine if the Astros were able to get Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani or even Yamamoto, which is another hot name out there for the starting pitching. This team would just be even more dangerous than it was. They were just one win away from the World Series, going to the World Series last year. So,
World Series confirmed.
right. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with a B minus actually. They did address their needs, but I feel like they just needed one more relief pitcher. I think in the winter meetings, if they would have, and I feel very firm about this guy. If they get Jordan Hicks, a guy that is a Houstonian, he went to Side Creek High School. He was drafted by the Cardinals. If they could get him, and then all like obviously you have Dylan Coleman who throws pretty damn hard, high fastball velocity with a lot of electric stuff. Then I think you get a B plus or A minus in my grade, in my in my thought. But I give them a B minus because they did address what their needs. I think um, Victor Caratini is going to be a good switch hitting backup option for the Astros. He gives you that versatile too if you need a right-handed or left-handed hitter at the plate. depending on what matchups. You could even use him at first base for some games, even though he did play one game at first base. Maybe potentially having him and Yainer kind of get some defensive, do some defensive drills out there at first with Jose Brady, because the Astros don't have a so-called backup first baseman right now. So if you look at them two guys to be able to replace that, you never know what could happen. So I think a B minus, I would have to say, for the Astros winter meetings. But of course we have to ask the audience, what do they think? What do y'all think? And sure enough, I mean, we went to X and we had asked, I mean, what do you have to give these guys? If you're gonna give them a grade, are we giving them an A? Are we gonna give them a B? Are we gonna give them a C? Maybe an F. So let's go to the Twitter options, or X if you like to call it. Not now, Alex. He put C plus B minus, so he's in the B minus range with me. He said they got their catcher and got a high return filler and a reliever, but I would like them to get an established reliever like Hicks at least. Completely agree, Alex. I completely agree. G Watt C plus, just not enough being done here to shore up the gaps. We had some D minuses, we have some Fs, but majority of the audience was a C plus. Southeast Texas EAS C plus, should have been more active in the meetings. Not gonna lie, we have our first A plus. Oh my God, Hunter Brown RBW A plus. They got the best backup catcher on the market for a good price and acquired a reliever with good upside. And like I said, we had a bunch. Angel Altuve 300 watch. Well, loving a Rosa Reina type talent, but wasn't expecting it. I think all Astros fans weren't expecting that. If they did, maybe, my gosh, I think everybody would just be going crazy. But he also said if Coleman can't produce a thing at the 2022 level, it'll be a huge steal. Completely agree. Like somebody had said too, I believe it was Alex, with the reliever that has some great upside. If Coleman has that potential to be a Neris, because you remember, Angel, they signed Neris to 2 years for his contract after the Phillies, and he was a closer with the Phillies, and he wasn't that really great reliever. I believe he was pitching a 3 ERA with them. If they could find a way to get Coleman to pitch into the 2 ERAs, a great FIP as well, then the Astros knocked it out of the park at the winter meetings, and they just basically replaced Neris with, I would say, a younger cat in Coleman, because Coleman's only 27 years old. So potentially have some great upside, but we'll just have to see when spring training rolls around in March. Well, really in February. Pitchers and catchers retreat to spring training. So I have to see about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Astros got their backup catcher, like we said. Chandler Rome had it first. Of course, he had said the Astros are in agreement with free agent catcher Victor Caratini. Mark Feinstein had the contract details. He said Caratini's deal with the Astros is for 2 years, $12 million. I think that's a great price for a guy like that. He was one of the younger catchers in the free agent market. He has some upside as well. So, real quick, let's go with the stats. Yeah, 259 batting average with a 327 on base percentage and a 383 slugging percentage. Had a 711 OPS. He had a 296 bat BIP, 312 WOBA, 94 WRC plus. If you look at his stats, because like I said, the guy is a switch hitter. He's more right-handed. He loves to hit right-handed. As a lefty, he had 250 with no home runs, 3 RBIs. Right-handed, he was 262, 7 home runs, 22 RBIs. But the Astros really didn't get him for his offensive performance. It was the catching. It was behind the plate, being defensively. 6 catching framing runs. He was 8th in MLB for that, 89th percentile in framing as well. However, he does struggle on throwing runners out, and of course, his pop time isn't the best. It is at a 206. So it'd be interesting to see if he could kind of improve on that. I do like the framing, because that's been one weak spot that the Astros have been kind of not doing so well, from Maldonado even to Diaz. They both were in the negatives in that category, and bringing a guy like Caratini that can help these pitchers with the framing and getting some pitches, I think that's a plus. So, Angel, what do you think of Mr. Caratini joining the Astros ball club?
You know what? You take the words right out of my mouth. That's what I was exactly going to say. Where this catching group can work as a collective. You were saying that Victor Caratini's pop time, and you know wasn't so great. Well, guess who has a good pop time? Yainer Diaz does. You're saying that Caratini has a great framing skills. That's what Yainer Diaz needs to work on. So I feel like they're going to be in the video room, catching room, whatever you would like to call it, for a long time, and they can, he's Puerto Rican too, so
Mm-hmm.
they have that Latino,
Presence.
yeah, there you go, presence, so they can help each other out. I like it. Now, yeah, like his offense production isn't as well. Well, he didn't really get enough opportunities as well, and again, helping each other out. So can Yanni Diaz provide some tips as well to him. And when you have guys with like when you have in the clubhouse Jordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, just like Commercial Dubon, I'm sure Cartini can pick the brains too on how to get better offensively as well.
Yeah, so real quick, let's look at the stat head of baseball. Obviously, this is from Baseball Reference. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, high five, claps all around. Martin Maldonado is gone off the Astros, roster. He won't be brought back to the Astros organization. Honestly, if you look at the hitting performance, and like you were saying too, Caratini didn't have a lot of at-bats. Look at the games between these two guys. 116 games Maldi had caught. Caratini only had 62. Now look at the hits. Maldi had 69 hits, and Caratini had 52. Out of 62 games, he had 52 hits. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then obviously the home run and RBI production, 25 RBIs compared to Maldonado's 36. Like I said, 62 games compared to 116. That's half of the games half the games Caratini had caught.
Yeah.
Because obviously William Contreras, was the catcher over there in Milwaukee. And then the batting average, you could tell, on base percentage, slugging, OPS plus. So I think the guys, like I said, you brought Caratini for his defensive approach, but don't look back on the offensive production he has done in the past. He looked like he's done pretty good. 0.7 WAR compared to Maldi 0.2 WAR. I think this is a great sign from Mr. Dana Brown. This is his first winter meetings as the Astros GM, and I think he knocked it out of the park getting a guy like Caratini at the winter meetings.
Absolutely, I agree.
So, and then of course, real quick, we got to shout out Martin Maldonado. We have to, because he was with the Astros since 2018. 2018. That's 6 years. 6 ALCS appearances, 3 World Series appearances, 2022 World Series champion. If you remember, without that Alvarez home run, Maldonado was the one that set the tone, I believe. Well, yeah, he did, because he leaned into that pitch on Zach Wheeler. And then obviously Altuve got to a fielder's choice. Pena got the single, runners on first and third. You got Alvarez to come, and you know what happened from there. So anyway, back to it. Caught 2 immaculate innings in 1 game. Caught 3 no-hitters, 2 regular ones, and a 1 combined no-hitter. Well, actually, no, it was 2 combined no-hitters, 1 regular no-hitter.
There you go.
So Maldonado, a round of applause for you for what you've done for the city of Houston on and off the field. One of the best catchers in the Astros era, I would say. One of the best, I would say, for the pitchers, too. Pitchers look to Maldi. That's why JB came to Houston, was because of Martin Maldonado. So it's going to be interesting to see what spring training comes around, how these pitchers and catchers are going to work together with a young-headed cat like Mr. Yainer Diaz and a veteran guy like Caratini, which he's still young, but you won't have Martin Maldonado's presence in an Astros uniform.
I have a question, and it's just a thought. You think, as much as a presence Martin Maldonado had in this Astros organization, do you think when it's all said and over for Martin Maldonado, you think he'll be like a Yadier Molina who came back with the Cardinals organization as a to help with the Latin American players develop and so like you think do you see Martin Maldonado in a role like that for the Astros organization, or maybe just any organization?
I do see him coaching after everything's said and done. Obviously, he is getting up in age. I wouldn't be surprised if he has like about 3 more years, 3 more years of baseball left, because there are still teams interested in him. Rafael Devers from the Red Sox had posted a picture on his Instagram with him and Maldi at the plate. So, I mean, they're trying to recruit him. But to answer your question, I do think he is going to be in some type of coaching role. I would, it'd be good to put him back with the Astros because the dude is a workhorse. He does his homework. He looks at the scouting report. He does all of them things. Yes, his offensive production wasn't good. Yes, he did, have a lot of balls passed by him. But the brain that he brings to the Astros organization, I think it's going to be beneficial for him and for the team moving forward.
Absolutely.
So, yes, salute to you, Hamaldi, for everything you've done. Like I said, I think both of us can say he has been one of the best catchers in Astros franchise history and a pivotal part of the golden era of Astros baseball. So, shout out to Maldi as we do our shout outs in the regular season. But moving on to the relief pitching market and Astros trade for a relief pitcher. It was going to be interesting if they're going to sign. Dana Brown had even said he didn't want to overpay for an arm. And sure enough, he didn't. He went to go get somebody at Kansas City. Per Aaron Rodgers, the Royals are trading right-handed pitcher Dylan Coleman to the Astros, sources tell me, and Jonathan Mayo. Kansas City acquiring right-handed pitcher Carlos Mateo. Mateo was in the rookie ball of the Astros farm system. So I don't see nothing too pivotal, too big. I think it was an even trade. I think the Astros honestly got the better of it. We'll have to see. But in 96 games in the 3 past seasons with the Royals, he has a career of a 3.88 ERA, 137 whip. Coleman last year in 23, I mean, the numbers aren't pretty. 0-2 record, 8.84 ERA. He allowed 18 hits, 18 earned runs. He did have a high walk rate with 23 walks in 23 games. He's got a 3-pitch arsenal. He has a 4-seam fastball that averages about 95 miles per hour. You got the sweeper averaging about 81. And then, of course, the cutter being 90 miles per hour. So, Angel, I mean, I think the Astros did a great job doing this. They didn't go sign a big name like everybody would like to see because the baseball winter meetings are for those, for the big names, for the big guys on the market. Obviously the Astros fans saw Garrett Cole get off the market with the Yankees. Juan Soto right now is looking like he's going to be finalizing a trade to the Yankees. And you saw the Aaron Judge hype. And of course, you still got Shohei Ohtani. Astros didn't do none of that. They said, you know what, we're going to go low, bargain shop. Let's see what's available on the market. Let's contact these GMs from other teams. And sure enough, they got a guy like Coleman, which I think he has some pretty damn good upside. From all the videos, looking at his stuff from, the slider, the sweeper, the cutter, obviously the velocity on the fastball. I think this guy is going to be something special if the Astros pitching department works with him, and especially with the analytics that the Astros have. I think this is a good match in heaven. Well, not even match in heaven, but great match overall.
Yeah. I think he brings a lot of, a lot of good things. Like his fastball velo is 95%, like you're seeing on the thing. And a big arm. And that surprises me is that 86% whiff rate. So he has great stuff that's causing a lot of like that movement on his off speed and fastball. It's just really gets the players thinking of what's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, fastball velo, 97.6, 95th percentile. And remember, when we talk about the percentiles on Baseball Savant, the greater number is the best number. It's a great. Obviously, you see it on the picture right there. But if you're new to this is what we're explaining. Average exit velocity, 86.4, 90 percentile. Like you're saying, the whip percentage, 86, 64 strikeout rate. That's not bad. It's about MLB average. But the guy has potential. The guy has some upside in this. The ERA could get better. It's an average. The only thing that you're concerning, like we were talking about, is the walk rate. He's 3. That is poor. 3 percentile, and that is poor. 12.8% of the walk rate. I think that's going to be a number one priority when they go to spring training is to control his pitches, have a better, pitch accuracy and all of that. Chase rate too. We got to find, and it's interesting because the whip percentage, he has an 86, but the chase rate, it's a 22. It's not the best. It's not great. So I think this is a good potential guy that could have some great advantages for the Astros in that bullpen. Like we were talking about, if they do go sign another reliever and this guy turns it around, I think it's great. I think it's great for the Astros what they did this past winter meetings.
Absolutely.
But moving on to the man of the hour, and that is Mr. Dana Brown, the Astros GM. Like I had mentioned, This is Dana Brown's first time being the Astros general manager at the baseball winter meetings last year. Do you remember who was the GM?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
I said, do you remember who was the GM last year for the Astros
Oh,
going into the winter
oh
meetings?
yeah, it was supposed to be like Jeff Bagwell and a crew of other 2 3 people.
Bill Furcus and another guy. I can't have the name at the top of my head, but them guys, assistant GMs. I believe you said Jeff Bagwell too. I believe he was out there as well. So this time, the Astros do have a GM, and his name is Dana Brown. And he, like you were saying, he had some different topics to Yainer Diaz, to Alex Bregman, to Jake Meyers. What are we gonna, what are we gonna see coming into the 2024 season? And this is what he has to say. And per Brian McTaggart, great guy out there. He said the team is committed to Jake Meyers so much, so he'll get a bulk of time in center field to start the season. And of course, to Chandler Rome, Joe Espada said Myers and Chas McCormick will get chances in spring training to play. Espada also said Dubon is the best served as a team super utility guy, but he'll get some run in center field too. Angel, what are we doing? Chas McCormick, I believed he was going to be the everyday guy in center field. Nothing against Jake Meyers. Great defender. I love Jake Meyers. But at the same time, too, you got a guy like Chas McCormick who had a great year in 2023. The guy put up career numbers in OPS, on base percentage, batting average, home runs. I mean, the pop was there, contact, discipline was all right. And then, I mean, even too on the defensive side, he did a great job. And then you're bringing, you're saying that Jake Meyers is going to be the guy to compete in center field with McCormick. I mean, what are we doing here? What do you think the Astros' logic and their thought process is going into the new year and having them too?
What's a stacked? Like it's stacked at center field for sure, but I don't know. Maybe it's just to build some competition, so players won't get complacent at center field. Yeah, uh, Chas McCormick improved a lot. He was able to hit the slider a lot better. Didn't miss a fastball either, and I agree with you. I think he deserved, that spot. And I don't know. Yes, I say Jake Myers has a lot more range to Chas McCormick, but I think McCormick can hold his own in center field as well. Like he has, like he can read the ball pretty well. So, like I don't see why I feel like Jay Myers has an advantage by a step or two on Chas McCormick. But I still believe McCormick's a good defender. But it could be like making some competition or even trying to get a little bit more for Jake Myers because I feel like if the team just completely gives up on you, you're at a disadvantage trying to trade him. I was like, well, you're trying to get rid of him. I'm gonna give you this guy, but if they see that you're all in for this guy, then they might want to think, well, they see something in him. Maybe trade talks go differently as well. So I don't know. That's just my piece of the view.
Yeah, I mean, I do see something different though. And like I said, I Dana Brown's sneaky. He's very sneaky. He could be he could be saying that he's going to stay in Houston, but maybe, just maybe, just maybe, he can be saying this to other, to the public and saying he's not available, but he couldn't be because obviously the Astros have some offers for Jay Myers.
Yeah.
I do see them making a trade, and I do see Myers being the guy, the odd man out, because I mean, you saw last year Mauricio Dubon had a great, he did great in center field. He played center field, kind of half of the times in the playoffs for the Astros. If you go with a Dubon, McCormick aspect in center field, and then plus, I mean, you still got Corey Jokes that he could play the outfield as well. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that instead of Jake Myers staying in center field when you have a guy that has a 9+ OPS on the bench.
Yeah.
So
A-
maybe, just maybe.
And it could also be like, yeah, as a general manager, like you don't want to reveal your full hand, right? So I'm sure he
Mhm.
has something up his sleeve, like you're saying, but it could also be like, how I mean, it's the analogy of like siblings, right? Like,
Yeah.
when like, for example, you have this thing, nobody wants, like, you don't want it, so nobody wants it, but then all of a sudden like, you want it, and then everybody else wants it. So maybe, trying to like, uh,
Mind
ele-
tricks, baby.
yeah, there you go, elevate what a trade package for Jake Myers as well.
So I could see that happening. I could. And then, of course, you remember the managerial search. He didn't name any names out there. He didn't know. And the whole time it was Joe Espada. So that's what I'm saying. He's very sneaky with it. But you know who's not on the trade market anymore? That is Mr. Alex Bregman.
Oh yeah.
A lot of reports out there, rumors, everything like that had said, and we even talked about on our last episode if Alex Bregman was on the move. Well, Dana Brown answered those questions at the winter meetings, and this is what he had to say. He's like, as I said before, Alex Bregman has had a great year, obviously career in Houston. We're not interested in trading him. I think Alex knows that and understands it's based on our conversations. I'm not worried one bit about the articles, rumors, and I'm not sure where it started coming from. But at the end of the day, Alex is a pillar here. Well, Dana, I can tell you this for sure. You didn't hear from us. We're just hearing the rumors out there that's going around Major League Baseball. But good to hear from the GM that they said that Mr. Bregman is not on the move as of right now in the beginning of the winter meetings. And I honestly don't see it at all. But yeah, like you said, this guy's been here for a while. He's been a big part of this Astros ball club, a important pillar to the golden era of Astros baseball, and I just don't see him going anywhere. I think the contract is just going to ride until the end of the 2024 season, and just go from there.
Yeah, and again, if they were to get rid of Bregman, Astros are still in contention to the playoffs, World Series. Again, they're like you said, one game away, and if you were to trade Alex Bregman, you have another void you have to fill in third base because after
Yeah,
that, like they don't have guys in the farm system that are ready. Maybe you can make a case for Leon, who's the middle infielder, like transition, but if he was ready, he would have been brought up by now because the Astros aren't shy of bringing up guys who are ready. Just look at Luis Garcia, skip AAA. And there's other guys like that that just fly through, the minor leagues. So I feel like the Astros have a keen eye. When the guy's ready, you know, it doesn't matter where they're at in the minor leagues, they'll be brought up. But if they've been tentative with Leon, that tells me he's not ready. So there's really nobody after that.
a name to watch out for, and we've talked about it. Bryce Matthews, the guy
Okay.
that the Astros picked up last year in the draft,
Yeah.
in the first pick. Well, not obviously the first overall pick, but he was the first pick for the Astros in the 23 draft.
And college guys usually have an expedited trip to the majors just because they have that experience in college ball as well. So I can see that.
Not just that, but I think the kid's versatile too. I mean, he's athletic as hell. And if you remember, the Astros drafted Bregman in 2015. The
Yeah.
following year, he was already in the majors.
Yeah. So like that expedite. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you were saying, that this kid could automatically go like that from this year to be up to the majors. So,
And, and then we saw
I
a
can see.
trend this year too. Like there were like I believe the Angels brought up Ben Joyce, and he had like a few months in the minor leagues after being drafted last year.
Oh
So,
yeah,
you know, again, I wouldn't be surprised either because it's been going around. Like some of these college programs are doing a great job of developing these guys to be
hmm
major league ready, and I think that's why you've seen that kind of switch of they're drafting a lot more college guys because there used to be a thing is like in years past like you want the high schoolers develop it like develop them, but now it's like
yeah,
transitioning to more like college baseball guys.
yeah. Zach Neto's another guy. Last year, not last. Well, yeah, last year in the 22 draft, he got drafted, and then this year he made his major league debut. I believe the Angels drafted somebody this year,
Yeah,
and he got brought up this year.
I believe so. You're correct.
So, so yeah, look at that transition, like you were saying, Angel. It could happen. Maybe Bryce Matthews is baseball ready, but time will tell. Time will tell. But last but not least, on Dana Brown talk, it is the thoughts of Mr. Yainer Diaz. Obviously, the guy is now the everyday starter for the Houston Astros behind the plate. Maldonado's gone. Caratini right now is set up as the backup catcher. What does Yainer Diaz have to prove? To me, I don't think he has to prove anything because 20 something home runs, 60 plus RBIs, and just a small sample size. He could have won Rookie of the Year, but it is what it is. But this is what Brown had to say. He said, Yainer has earned the right to be that everyday guy, and I think Yainer proved to us he can handle a staff. Even though he's a young guy, there have been young guys in our game that have come up and been able to handle older staffs. Yainer can really handle a staff. And then Chandler Rome had this to say from Joe Espada. Espada said he's talked to Diaz once a week since getting the managerial job. As spring training draws closer, they'll increase communication and preparation for Diaz's first full season as a primary catcher. And Joe, I mean, you got to love hearing this. Joe Espada is already making. I'm telling you, dude, Espada era is going to be exciting, and he's already talking to his young players like Yainer Diaz, for instance. This kid could have been, I think, number three, at least top three in the Rookie of the Year votes. but he had to sit back. Martin Maldonado was being the primary catcher. Diaz was just getting basically Maldi was the mentor of Diaz, and just Diaz picking the brain of the master. Now that he's gone, Brown already said he has full confidence in this guy, and now you have your coach checking on you once a week to see how's everything going. If you've seen his videos, he'll post it on X or even on Instagram. The man is working this offseason,
Right.
hitting off a tee, being in the weight room. That's things you love to see. So, what do you expect for Yainer Diaz in his first year as the everyday star for the Astros?
I expect him to like continue where he left off, I would say. And I say this with confidence because again, with Joe Espada there, there's no I have to create this new relationship with this like new manager. Like it's already there. And also, if you watch the way he caught those games towards the end of the season, again, there was almost a no hitter that Yander
Yeah.
Diaz caught with that staff that's already been in place. Like there's really no new guys besides Dylan Coleman, and that starting rotation. You're gonna be the same looking guys there that he already knows, has talked to, has built this camaraderie with. So I would say either the offensive is not going to change. I think that pop's still there. Maybe he goes into a little like it happens in baseball. Maybe a step or two, but it's going to be there. But the way he's going to catch these guys, having a year to learn from Martin Maldonado and a familiar staff with a familiar coach, familiar faces, I think he's set up for success in this one. It can be like kind of like Mahomes, Alex Smith, right? He's like
Mhm.
Alex Smith was there for a year, and then ended up winning a whole championship with Mahomes after that. So it's just like I feel like it's there.
Yainer Diaz, 3.2 WAR, 23 home runs, 282 batting average, 60 RBIs, 846 OPS, OPS plus of 128. The offensive numbers are there. My concern, and I'm not worried, but it is a concern, Justin Verlander. Obviously, the guy's what a veteran. Well, he is a veteran, obviously, but 40 something years old. I mean, Cy Young's as well. The guy has everything, and now you're bringing in a young catcher like Yainer Diaz, who is 25 years old. He's very young, but at the same time, too, like Dana Brown said, he has full confidence. I believe you just said it right now. You have full confidence in him. If them two can click, and even including Framber Valdez too, because Framber sometimes gets into his head a lot. If he could get them two good, like going, like no problem, I have no worries, no concerns, nothing like that. So that's when it comes to spring training, it comes to February, it comes to March to really take that series. Then going into the season, you don't have to worry about nothing. So,
How many how many catches do you think Justin Verlander has pitched to in his career?
hmm, I'll say 12.
All right, we just add another one. Like
Oh,
he's
I
still
thought you had the number on you.
now. I was gonna say just add another one because he's won three Cy
Yeah,
Youngs. Like he's
agree.
been dominant. Like if you can adjust, if you can have that greater career, it's like you do not only have one guy behind the plate catching you. So I think at this point, both of them I'm sure have been talking and they can set up an agreement. But I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not bashing on Diaz, not even bashing on the other guys. It's not even too. I'm not even worried. It's just a small concern. You just wonder how they would work together in spring training, how it's going to go. Because if you saw Max Scherzer, how that turned out with the Mets, you're kind of thinking, well, hopefully that shit doesn't, turn out with Verlander, how he was with the Mets as well.
No,
So,
but the Mets problem was something that was different because I
I
mean in Texas he pitched pretty good. So uh, it kind of cut off a little bit. You're like you're on mute. I don't know. All right, well we try to fix those technical difficulties real quick. Let's continue with what the stove is cooking because after these winter meetings the stove is hot. So are you back?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me
There
now?
you go. Yes, I got you now. Not
There
better.
it is. AirPod blew off and then took off the mic. So sorry about that, everybody.
No worries, no worries. But I was just saying at the stove, we said it was warming up, but it's it's almost at the boiling point at this time. But let's start with what has been going on around the league, with starting with the Hall of Fame. With a Hall of Fame coach heading to Cooperstown, and this is former Pirates, Marlins, and Rockies and Tigers coach Jim Lehman is headed to the Baseball Hall of Fame by the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee. Three World Series appearances in 1997, 2006, and 2012. 1997, he won the World Champions with the Florida Marlins, and he made it in 2012 with Verlander. Scherzer was at Jordan Zimmerman as well in that pitching staff. Cabrera,
Hmm.
a pretty stacked Tigers lineup. He was three-time Manager of the Year in 1990, 1992, 2006, and 18th most wins all time. You know, think about all the coaches there's been around the league, and being 18th, that's a pretty remarkable feat as well. And I think it's well deserved. You know, it's a well deserved plaque. I wonder, is he going? Like, do you think he's going? Like, do coaches have hats on their? Like,
I believe so.
what do you
I
think?
think so. I want to say
Do you think he'll go as a Marlin or as a Tiger? I think those were
as a
the most.
Tiger.
You
I
think so?
think he had a huge part of the Tigers organization because the Tigers never made it to the World Series or made it to the playoffs since the '80s, and then Jim Leland got there and then kind of turned that organization around. Went to the World Series. Miguel Cabrera having a huge milestone, being the first Triple Crown winner in a good while. So his presence in Tigers, at Comerica Park was very huge. So well deserved, like you said. But I think a Tiger hat would be on his head.
I agree with you in the impact he had with the Tigers, but I say he goes with the Marlins. I think that World Series,
Ooh,
that
Marlins.
that World Series championship, I think that speaks grand as well. But as Lorenzo was saying, the winter meetings are here and they went, and there's been a lot of movement going around the league. Starting off with the Brewers, I think they're trying to pull the hat of the Braves and even the Diamondbacks, where they signed their number two prospect outfielder Jackson Chirino to an 8-year, $82 million contract with a club option of 2032 and 2033. And he's 19 years old. And honestly, when I saw that number 2032, 2033, I was like, man, we're getting old because that's like already in the 30s. But I mean, that's a good signing for
Oh my
him
god.
because these young prospects, I feel like when they get paid, have been pretty good. Like if you look at Corbin Carroll, Tatis got paid pretty early on as well.
Rodriguez as well.
So I feel it's gonna be a common trend, and it kind of like buys out the arbitration years. So by buying out those arbitration years, I feel like you have that pretty good dynamic because you're not going to the arbitrator talking like, yeah, he's not hearing the organization talk all this like
Hmm.
bad, about you. So I think pretty good. And Milwaukee, I guess they were a little disappointed they didn't make it to the what they couldn't get by the playoffs because they re-signed Brewers Wade Miley to a 1 year, $8.5 million contract as well. So they're making moves out there. I'm sure they're little like I'm sure they want to go for it in the postseason. So they are trying to reinforce their rotation and their offense as well. Texas Rangers, World Series
Mm,
champions,
yeah.
signed Kirby Yates to a 1 year, $4.5 million contract. And I think that's a good signing for them. Like Kirby Yates is still a renowned relief pitcher, still has left in the tank, and I kind of like that. I mean,
They need bullpen help as well.
yeah,
That's what they really need.
yeah. I don't know. Like, do you think that's a good? Like, you think the Astros could have matched that or offer a little bit more, or do you think it was worth it?
I don't know about worth it because Kirby Yates has been fighting injuries for the past 2 years ever since he won. I think he had the most saves in
Yeah,
MLB. I think it was with either the Padres
I think
or
the Padres.
I want to say so too, either them or the Blue Jays. And after that, he's just hasn't been the same. He's been fighting injuries, so it could be it could benefit the Rangers or it could bite them in the butt later on in the long run. But yeah, I mean it's not a bad contract, 1 year, 4.5 million. But I think the Astros have they're setting their eyes for someone else. I think.
Ooh, okay. So someone else. Let's see who that could be. But I don't know. Someone I hoped the Astros could have signed, and the Astros have seen him, especially in the 2019 World Series. He was part of that. Washington National crew. Eric Fed, after not having much success in the major leagues with the Nationals, he went to the KBO. He was the 2023 MVP over there.
Hmm.
So, you know,
You're setting yourself up for success over here in the majors now.
think about that when you have guys like Yamamoto coming out and these nasty pitchers that come from Japan. By winning it, he did something right. So he came back to the States trying to get a contract. He got it. Chicago White Sox signed him for 2 years, $15 million. I don't know. I think he would have looked great for the Astros because honestly, he has experience both as a starter and as a relief pitcher. So I think he could have been that
Yeah.
little versatile. But I think 2 year, $15 million. That's a pretty penny as well. So like you said, I think the Astros are trying to save up money for resigning their guys and maybe bringing in somebody as well. The Baltimore Orioles signed Craig Kimbrell on a 1 year, $13 million, and the Los Angeles Angels signed Adam Simber to a 1 year, $1.65 million. And as we speak right now, Eduardo Rodriguez is. They're saying he's on the verge of finalizing a deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks as well.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Sound the alarm right now. Wow.
Yeah, again, nothing has been confirmed yet, but their discussions have advanced, to that.
Wow.
So
I never would have thought the Arizona Diamondbacks, honestly.
yeah,
That's a
I
great
mean,
move for them.
oh yeah, and I think they're a little salty about obviously you would be after losing the World Series, but they're looking good again. Like I think they've added some key pieces to that to help them regain and maybe even win the division because again they entered as a wild card team, so maybe even win the division in the NL West.
That rotation is not bad now. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Fat. That rotation is not bad.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
bad.
I think they could compete with the Dodgers. Honestly, now
Yeah.
if the Dodgers don't add this name, we will be talking about it later. But we did get some trades going on in winter meetings as well. I think there's a few big trades, and let's start with to me the biggest on my book. The Yankees acquired Alex Verdugo from the Red Sox for right-handed pitcher Richard Fitz, which is the number 12 Yankees prospect. Right-handed pitcher Greg Weissert, right-handed pitcher Nicholas Judas, and he was not a top Yankees farm system, but it's crazy. Yankees Red Sox trade, what a rarity. I know that we see some signings between them, and like I know Johnny Damon played in both, Jacoby
Jacoby.
Ellsbury
Right.
played in both, right? But this is only the sixth trade between the rivals since 1969, and
Nice.
honestly, I don't think Verdugo looks good without the beard. So I don't know.
Dude.
It's
Just doesn't look solid. It just doesn't look solid. It looks different. It just looks different. That's gonna be honestly, for my eyes, it's gonna be very hard to see him in a Yankees uniform.
I don't like that. I don't like that rule at all. But this trade really surprised me because Alex Verdugo is a pretty good player, and I think
Mhm.
the Red Sox, he fit right in with the Red Sox. But moving to the Yankees, that I don't know. I feel like Alex Verdugo is gonna be a guy that's gonna torment you a little bit, like when he comes back to Fenway or when the meeting is in Yankee Stadium as well. But you know, the Yankees like their left-handed hitters, and that's why they're trying to get Juan Soto as well. But another trade that was pretty big, and it involved an AL West rival in the Mariners. The Braves are acquiring Jared Kelenic, left-handed pitcher Marco Gonzalez, who they flipped to the Pirates. First baseman Evan White from the Mariners for right-handed pitcher Cole Phillips and right-handed pitcher Jackson Cow. Now, who do you think got the advantage of this trade? Uh, Mariners or the Braves?
It's kind of say to both, but I'd say Mariners. They dumped that nasty contract of Marco Gonzalez, who had signed in 2020. I think it was like 30 million a year.
Oh
I
wow.
want to say, or something like that. You do lose Jerry Kelnick, which that one's kind of a little rough, I would say, because he was starting to hit the ball pretty good this whole season. Then he kind of, regressed, and then he kind of started hitting better. And then obviously the injury to his foot kicking, the nice chest. But other than that, I mean, it's a win-win for both. The Mariners dumped his contract, and then the Braves get a good hitter in Jerry Kelnick and a good defender, I say. So I think it's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, and for the most part, I feel like Major League Baseball fans would like a more active winter meetings, but I think clubs set themselves up for success. I mean, I feel like those are productive winter meetings for most players, and the like there is like in the winter meetings there is the Rule 5 draft. I believe the Astros lots Mark Coste. I think he came up once or twice
Hmm.
um for the Astros, but other than that, I don't think they lost any big names. I think it was just like about two players that they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Marco Gonzalez, 4 years, 30 million was his contract.
4 years,
He'll,
30 million from Marco
yeah,
Gonzalez.
and this coming year for the Mariners, they were gonna have to owe him 12 million. So
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, yeah, it was a
I
great move for both.
Yeah, and I think the biggest name that most fans want to hear and has been the centerpiece of the offseason is Shohei Otani. Now, I've been seeing a lot of social media posts that, that marketing the Otani trade was, a miss by the Major League Baseball, but even for this is what Otani wanted. Like
Mhm.
he wanted uh, uh he wanted to keep things secretive to himself, he didn't want all the attention, and these are some updates that's been going on. So, a clubhouse source says that Shohei Ohtani couldn't see himself playing in New York. I don't know. Maybe he didn't like the Bronx. Maybe he saw a little
The
rat,
Bronx
or
Zoo, the Bronx
yeah.
Zoo could
Maybe
be it.
he didn't like something, but maybe it's just a big stage or something like that.
Got scared of the pizza rats.
And I will be too. Ohtani told the clubhouse sources during the season that he liked the Dodgers, the Jays, if he left the Angels. Now,
Hmm.
we did talk about like I just did mention um, how Shohei Ohtani wanted things to be secretive. Well, Dave Roberts kind of split the beans on that one. They said
Yeah.
Dave Roberts said the Dodgers met with Shohei Ohtani in LA a couple days ago and asked that Shohei is their top priority. He also said the Dodgers met with Shohei Ohtani at Dodger Stadium a couple days ago. Roberts said the meeting went well, and Otani can make a final announcement where he's signing in the end of this week. So, you know, I feel like once the Shohei Ohtani trade sets the market, that hot stove going to be boiling through the pot and things are going to get working. I think things are just waiting and seeing what Otani gets before they make their move. But I don't know, it can be a risky situation because maybe you sign a little guy cheaper and then Otani sets his market really high, right? So
Mhm.
hopefully to LA County over there, Dave Roberts didn't just cost you Otani by, start like adding this extra information for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Otani sweepstakes is crazy right now. You got a guy in San Francisco offering free sandwiches, changing his name to Shohei's whatever his restaurant's called, and then having him make his own sandwich, signature sandwich. That's how crazy the sweepstakes are for Shohei Otani right now. You got guys putting their restaurant on the line for Shohei Otani. So
Yikes.
I
I
mean,
wonder I wonder how many people are gonna name their kids Shohei if he signs in their hometown.
that has to be a like a 13-1 odd, I believe.
I can see it. I can see
I
it.
can see it.
N- And then there's part two of this trade sweepstakes, and it has to be a trade because obviously he's not a free agent. He has 1 year left, and that is Juan Soto. Juan Soto trucks. The way it's looking, it looks like he's going to New York. I
Mhm.
mean, they couldn't get Otani, but they're working on Juan Soto. If completed, New York will send Michael King, Drew Thorpe, along with additional players that will be going to San Diego. I think I saw, I can't remember on the top of my head, but sorry, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Cal Higashio. I forgot. Higgy is what they call him over there.
Hey,
Yeah,
Higashioka,
he
Higashioka.
Higashioka. I mean,
There you go.
that's a pretty handful of players for a year Juan Soto. So, I mean, do you think that Yankees are going to be dumping their farm system, or you think they're still in pretty good shape?
I mean, I think they're pretty in good shape. You didn't lose Peraza. You didn't lose Anthony Volpe. You didn't lose your number one guy, Jason Dominguez. You got Alex Verdugo. You'll if you do get Juan Soto, and then later you'll get Jason Dominguez back from injury. Honestly, that team is going to look scary if they stay healthy.
Hmm.
If they stay healthy. If they don't stay healthy, then you might, and then plus the division too is pretty hard.
Oh yeah,
But
We got a glimpse of that last year.
Yeah. But if the trades finalize, everyone stays healthy, I think the Yankees are going to be a division to championship range team next postseason.
Okay, you heard
I
it here,
see it.
folks. I mean, you heard it here first. That full steam ahead. But Yoshinobu Yamamoto, KBO legend, is ready to come to the major leagues, and the Red Sox are saying that he is their top priority, and could have an advantage because didn't they sign what's his name,
Yoshida, baby.
Yoshida? There you go.
Yeah,
So
they signed him.
he did. Yamamoto did say he wanted to play with other Japanese stars, so that could be an advantage, and maybe that's the reason why they dumped Verdugo. Maybe trying to clear some money to make room for Yamamoto as well. But Mets, Yankees, Giants, Cubs, Cardinals, Tigers, Red Sox, Phillies, and Diamondbacks are all linked to Yamamoto. So there's a lot of teams calling, but serious suitors for Yamamoto are considered to be the Blue Jays, Dodgers, Giants, Mets, and Yankees, and two mystery teams in there. Maybe Astros, I'm not sure, I doubt it, but there is two mystery teams in there.
We hey, the Astros had Kaz Matsui, so we could
There
put
you
our
go.
name in
Oh,
there.
don't forget Aoki as well.
Oh yeah, the
There you go.
legend, the
There you go.
2017 Series champion Nori Aoki.
Yeah, so they
So we
don't.
do have some Japanese ties
There we
in
go.
Houston. Yeah,
There you go.
true.
Eh, like I know he's Chinese, but Yao Ming comes there every once in a while too. So maybe he sees that. But
Throw our pitch out there.
but executives are predicting he may cost the signing team as much as 300 million, including the posting fee.
Hmm.
Now, this news is supposed to be. Oh, Yamamoto's expected to meet with the Yankees in the U.S. on Monday as well. So we'll see how that goes. But things are brewing. Like these owners are ready to empty out their pockets to make their teams contenders, and you like to see it. Then you also have Lucas Jolito. I mean, he's good. He's good. He won. Like
He had a Cy Young finalist.
yeah. He had an up and down season, but he's drawing interest from the Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox, Diamondbacks, Royals, per John Morosi. And the name that the Astros might want to look at as well is Tyler Glass now. Right now, he's linked to the Cubs and Reds are among teams in talks with the Rays about him. And Cubs are also could I think have offered or could offer Christopher Morel as part of a deal for Tyler Glass now as well.
Hmm. Interesting.
And last but not least, again, I did tell you that the Rule 5 draft happens at winter meetings. Well, there was the MLB draft rankings of how it was going to go. And something different that happened is a MLB draft lottery. They got the book from the NBA lottery, just to stop teams from tanking. Because if it was like the old system, like the way it is in football and baseball, the Athletics would have the first pick and the Royals, right? But it's kind of keeps teams a little bit more competitive with the lottery. So the first round pick of this year's 2024 MLB draft is none other than the Cleveland Guardians.
Wow.
Cleveland Guardians. The A's ended up with the fourth pick of the draft. Fourth pick.
I feel bad for Ace fans, honestly, man. You got to feel bad for them. That their team's moving and relocating from Oakland, and now they can't even get the number one pick because they didn't do too well this year. You got to feel for Oakland. You have to.
And this is just how unlucky the Athletics are because they had the highest chance to get the number one pick. The Guardians only had 2% chance to get the number one pick. And then it's their first time picking first in franchise history as well. So unlucky A's, lucky Guardians that are going to be drafting first overall.
You have to feel for the Ace fans.
Yeah,
You just have to. I
definitely.
mean, can't get nothing going on their side of the ball at any point. Losing the football team, losing the baseball team, can't even get a number one pick.
You know what's crazy about this lottery though? That the Rays got a like a lower draft pick than the Yankees and I believe another team as well. So like, it's crazy.
Spicy. And just think about the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes for that. Saw how
Yeah,
that went. Houston had like I think the number one or number two losing record in the NBA rankings last year, and they got I believe
third.
third pick. So yeah, things you don't like to see is just something like that, for example. But that is end of our show. Obviously, I don't even have to say anything from follow us at these platforms, but hey, you got it right there on the ticker. If you haven't looked and see where you can follow us, it's right there. Obviously, we do have it on the top right hand corner: Twitter, X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and then of course our podcast platforms as well. So maybe the Astros do something at the end of the day, adding more, or this could be the Astros off-season plans. So we'll have to see. Until then, Angel, you have anything else?
No, thank you for listening. I know we kept you here for an hour. Hopefully, you stay to the end.
Yep. Like I said, brand new ticker. We'll have something brand new later for the following year. So be ready, get ready, and y'all have a safe week, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Peace.